Yo, it's Marcus Graber. How's it going, you guys? So if we look at here, this is Tesla stock, and some interesting things have happened today. We can see that we broke below this trend line. So before we closed and opened above our trend, today we opened right below the trend. That gave us off the bat an indication that downside was more probable than upside. So this gave us an indication and we went to the downside. Now, we have to look at a few different things. Is all lost? Are we going to go back to the bottom of this trend here? This is definitely very possible. Let's take a look at the 5-day chart just to see what is going on, because we also want to be aware of basically the scenario that we've been talking about, that we have been in. Basically, the scenario was a potential bull flag. And so if we want to see if we are still in that pattern, we basically want to make a line right over here and see if this has been broken. Basically, we can see that this hasn't been broken so far. We can still expect to stay above this line. If we do break below this line, then we'll probably see a reversion back to the bottom of this trend in this triangle pattern that we've been trading in before. So that's something to be paying attention to. We want to be paying attention to this line here to see if we don't go below it. So the downside is this trend down here. And this is not exact here. We have to make it like this. There we go. So that is the downside. And we also want to be aware of the upsides, the downsides. So basically, we still have the potential to make a move to the upside, break to the upside. But this is something that we have to be of note, that this is concerning. And at the same time, we need to be aware of what's going on with the S&P 500, what's going on here. This is the more the broader forces that might be occurring here. And it looks like we talked about this potential bull flag pattern that has been forming with the S&P 500. And if we take a closer look, we can see that we got our second candle now that is in this pattern. So it is basically starting to look more and more like the bull flag that we thought might be occurring here. And again, what that's going to tell us is we're going to have this move potentially, and whenever we break out, to the upside. And to the upside, we talked about this idea of going to potentially 415. Now, keep in mind though that to get to 415, it doesn't have to be such an impulsive move. It can obviously be a very impulsive move, and I think it has a very good chance of being a very impulsive move. I don't know how long that's going to take, but we have to be aware of the fact that we could just consolidate more, and whenever we do break out, we can break out of this pattern right here, not necessarily get above this trend line. And once we break above this pattern, we could just simply consolidate more and go up in a gradual trend to the upside and eventually make it to the 415 mark, which is right here, and not necessarily even break this trend. So that basically there are a few different scenarios that could actually happen and still get to the upside. And we want to be aware of all of these different scenarios because that could actually happen. And keep in mind that if we do go to the downside, it would not be shocking at all to fill this gap here. And that's something that would definitely be healthy and something that definitely would not be surprising. So going back to Tesla here, we can be having potentially this bull flag that is forming here and then a breakout to the upside still. But at the same time, if this trend that we talked about breaks to the downside, we would not be surprised to have a reversion to the bottom of this channel here. Well, I hope you guys got some value from this content. If you haven't already, smash that like button, subscribe to this channel for more content like this, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. And keep in mind that none of this is financial advice. This is just some random guy on YouTube drawing some stick figure lines on a chart talking to you guys.